Yeah, because I was saying that it means also that they can be good emotionally because we care about animal feelings and emotions just like we care about our friends and family. There is a list of 5 things that animals should have in order to have a good quality of life. So they should never be hungry or thirsty, not feel uncomfortable, not be in pain or be sick. They have to be able to act like themselves and never be scared or sad. So, thanks to this list, we can check if an animal is treated with kindness and respect and not suffering from abuse. Now, the tricky part in science is how can we know when animals are happy since they cannot talk to us? Well, maybe you remember at the beginning I told you that I finished a master in animal behavior. Well, it's a science called ethology, which is based on watching how animals behave to answer our questions. So basically, it's their way of communicating with us. I'm going to give you an example. For example, here you have a picture of a dog, and you can see that he is smiling with its eyes closed, the tongue is out, so I'm probably thinking that he's happy. In contrast, here you have a dog hiding, so he's probably feeling scared, and here showing its teeth, so he's probably angry. So yeah, basically, if we watch carefully how animals behave, we can have a lot of information on how they're feeling. And animal behavior is like a code we need to understand in order to know how they are feeling. Now imagine some of you have pets at home and you want them to feel good. Well, it's the same thing for animals living in zoo and aquaria. We want them to feel good in their environment. But what is the tricky part? I'm gonna show you some pictures of dolphin in the wild. Well, you can see they can jump very high, swim with fish, with a lot of dolphins. But in captivity, it's more like this. So they still can swim and jump, but obviously there is limited space, people watching them, acrylic glass around the pool. So this is an environment very different from the natural habitat. And that's why as an animal welfare researcher, we have to give them extra care and attention so they can feel more like they're home. Now I'm going to give you a little exercise. Imagine if you're in a room all day with nothing to do, like for example in this white room, how would you feel? You would get very bored, right? Well, it would be the same with animals if we don't give them extra care. That's why it is so important to assess animal welfare in zoo and aquaria. So that's why enter enrichments. There are games, toys, activity that we will give animals to make their life more exciting. And I'm gonna give you some example. You will see that it's not so different that of things that we can use ourselves to have fun in our lives. For example, you may have used boy in a pool. Well, also dolphins love to interact with it. What about hula hoops? They also like to play with it. And who doesn't enjoy a game of basketball or football? Well, a dolphin can also have fun playing with these things. So it is very important to give them things that we would lead the life happy so they cannot get bored. And now I'm going to talk more specifically about my research that I conducted on this at the Oceanographic of Valencia in Spain. They have 18 dolphins in 7 pools. You have a dolphin saying hi to you. And basically, I conducted research on assessing the impact of auditive enrichment and more specifically on music on dolphins' behavior. So you're probably wondering why using music. Well, first of all, dolphins highly rely on sounds to communicate with each other. So it's something they can feel and they can hear. Also, music can stimulate their mind and can help to keep them engaged in the water. One of the most common problem we have with dolphins in captivity is that they are so dependent on the world happening outside of the water. They're dependent on the caretakers and everything. So it is important to give them things that would help them getting engaged in the water as a natural behavior. Yeah, another video of dolphins. But first of all, before doing an experiment, we have to take care of several things to ensure safety for the animals. So first of all, we adjusted the music to the dolphins' audio range so they cannot be harmed. We also got permission by a group of specialists called the Welfare Committee, which is basically people that are making sure that the animals involved in experiments are not getting harmed or disturbed. And for example, if something bad would happen to them during the experiment, we would stop the experiment or stuff like that. And also we played the speaker far away from the dolphins so they could not break it, touch it, or harm themselves. So now the fun part, the experiment. So we had a lot of questions. Would they swim faster during music? Will they be interested? Would they be calmer? Would they jump less? But how can we know if it has any impact on them? Well, the important thing is to check for changes in their behavior. So to do that, we first do the experiment without any sound, the control, and we watch how they behave, and then we add music and we see if there's any changes. And we also used 3 different stimuli: classical music, fast classical music, and relaxing music. So we would be able to compare also 3 types of music. And oh, what about the results? Okay. So here you have 3 dolphins, Josue, Billy, and Ellie. But we can see if there is no sign of stress, no signs of fear, and no aggressions. And it's something really important also in animal welfare is to check if there is not any negative response to the enrichment we're adding to the environment. So it's a really good indication that the experience is positive and not causing any discomfort to the dolphins. And another video here, you have the speaker underwater, and you can see that the dolphins are passing through. So it showed that they were very interested for the music. We also found that they spent more time underwater and less time looking outside, which was one of our problems. And they also were calmer during music. So everything are very good in outcomes. Here you have another video of Josue and Billy when we can clearly see that they were really interested of what was happening in the water during music. So that's basically it. I just wanted to sum up everything that we have seen so you can remember the important things. We have seen that animal welfare is a way to make sure animals are happy physically and also emotionally. And by watching how animals behave, it can give us clue on how they feel. Enrichment are very important in animal welfare, and they are like toys or activity that we give them to make the life better and more excited. And before an experiment, we always take precautions for the safety of animals. In my study, we have seen that dolphins did not feel bad with music. They were calmer, very interested. Actually, they preferred the slow music and they prefer being underwater rather than at the surface. So all these things show that dolphins really enjoyed music and it contributes to adding fun to the environment, so to make the lives better. And that's it. Thank you for listening to me, and remember that everyone can make a difference to make animals' lives better. And if you have any questions, be free to ask me. Thank you.
Thank you, Maëlina. I just suggest don't try with reggaeton music with dolphins. And, and okay, it's the time for schools. We have one question. How does it feel to swim with dolphins? From Croatia, they are asking.
Well, I did not swim with dolphins. Obviously, we are doing research in animal welfare, so the objective is not to swim with them, but to make them feel like they were at home, and at home they're not swimming with people. And also I'm working in animal behavior as a researcher, and but I'm not a caretaker of dolphins. So if some people would swim with them, it would be people specializing in taking care of dolphins, not a scientist. So yeah, I don't know.
Yes, Vesna again. You can open your microphone if you want.
Yes, my question is considering that music obviously had a positive impact on the dolphins, are there like steps to maybe ensure that more enclosures and things that hold dolphins in captivity, I guess, make sure to, for example, use music to make their lives better?
I'm not sure if I understand your question. You're saying that how
Are
can we put music like daily?
yes, yes, like is
Well, I think it would be maybe a step further of my research, like to put a speaker, for example, in the pool permanently, and then add maybe an automatization of sounds inside of the pool, for example. But it was kind of a pilot study to see, first of all, if it could work, if it would be a good thing for them and not cause any discomfort or disturbance. So yeah, everything is very slow, and we have to take care of every step. So far we're just adding a speaker inside of the water each time we're doing a music session. But yeah, maybe in the future we can add an automatization of sound underwater.
thank you.
Thank you. We have another question from Thomas. How you find out that animals, and more specifically dolphins, will be in a better mood by playing music?
So, like I said during my speech, what is important when you are adding enrichment is to see if you can observe any change in behavior. So the thing that we have seen in my study is yes, we have observed some changes in behavior, and more specifically, some behavior that are normally considered as negative were less present during my experiment. So, for example, the behaviors that we call them anticipatory behavior, which are all the behavior that dolphins would do to see outside of the water because they are dependent on the people working with them, were less present in frequency during my experiments. So, if we have a reduction of negative behavior and an improvement of positive behaviors, for example, uh, um, calm, like slow swimming, interaction with other dolphins, we would say that is something positive for their welfare, and so that they have a good mood. But we also tried to do um, another experiment to have more income on how would they feel emotionally, but I won't have time to talk about it right now because it's like very long and very difficult to explain. But basically we wanted to see if they were more optimistic during music, and but we were not able to have any results. So it would be difficult to explain everything right now for me. Sorry.
And does the music affect the dolphins if it's too loud? Question from
Yes,
Larissa.
yes, that's why I said that we adjusted the music to their audio range. Basically, if you have sounds more than, I think, 170 decibel underwater, dolphins can get harm. And if they're harmed, they cannot communicate with the other dolphins, and it would be a complete disaster for them. So we have tested each sound underwater to adjust the volume of each music, so they cannot have any harm in that specific thing.